A member of the great class of 1948, Johnny Bach is truly a man of Fordham. The Johnny Bach Award is presented annually to an individual whose life has had a substantial and lasting impact on the sport of basketball, who best emulates Mr. Bach's drive and passion for excellence. Tonight, the 2013 Fordham men's basketball team honors basketball coaching legend and Hall of Famer P.J. Carlesimo. P.J. began his coaching career as an assistant coach at Fordham University in 1971, following his graduation and his four-year playing career at Fordham. He was then named head coach at New Hampshire College for one season, 1975-76. He then spent 6 seasons as a head coach at Wagner College, and he led the Seahawks to their first NIT appearance. In 1982, he was named head coach at Seton Hall University, a position he held for 12 years. During the 1987-88 season, he guided Seton Hall into the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. His teams qualified for the NCAA tournament in 6 of his final 7 years there. He was named NCAA Coach of the Year in 1989 after engineering a 31-7 mark and advancing to the NCAA championship game. A game he really won. Yeah, that was a bad call. In addition, he was named Big East Coach of the Year in 1988 and 1989. He has served USA basketball numerous times, both as head and assistant coach, including the Olympics, World Championships, World University and Goodwill Games, and in 1992 he was an assistant for the gold medal winning Dream Team at the Barcelona Olympics. He also told me a story that the entire team was over his mom and dad's house in their backyard. So imagine Michael Jordan eating a burger. Pretty good. He has coached in the NBA since 1994, serving as head coach of the Portland Trailblazers, Golden State Warriors, Seattle Supersonics, Oklahoma City Thunder, and last year as the interim head coach of the Brooklyn Nets. Now I'm going to go off script for a moment to tell you a quick story. I'm a vindictive sort. So, like, if ESPN Radio ever did, bring me back, or not hire me back, I would root against them to go out of business. Every day. Every single day, I would go to College Exchange and say, "Can you make this happen?" And I asked PJ the other day on my radio show, I said, "PJ, I really thought they should have brought you back as a coach of the Nets. Do you root against them?" "Oh no, I've got friends there." "What's wrong with you?" If my sister worked at ESPN Radio and they let me go, I would not root for ESPN Radio. That's what makes PJ just a better man. Now, PJ has also been an assistant for the Raptors, New Jersey and Brooklyn Nets. He served as Greg Popovich's lead assistant with the Spurs for 5 seasons from 2002 to 2007, helping them win 3 NBA championships. He has worked as a television analyst for NBC, ESPN, TNT, and Fox Sports. Additionally, he worked for ESPN Radio, Global Sports, Westwood One Radio, covering NBA playoffs and finals, NCAA championships, the 2012 London Olympics, and he currently works as a TV analyst for ESPN. Can you imagine all the paychecks he's gotten? And in the midst of his prestigious coaching career, he and his wife Carolyn also found time to start a family. They have 2 sons, Kyle and Casey. PJ is part of a great Fordham family. PJ's father, Peter A. Carlesimo, Fordham College 1940. From 1968 to 1978, all 9 of PJ's siblings are Fordham graduates. He is a true Fordham gentleman whose family is such a key part of the Fordham story. It is only appropriate that this year's Johnny Bach Award be presented to P.J. Carlesimo. Russell has never had the pleasure of meeting this man. He is indeed a gentleman. He is one of the fine people that I've ever walked through the halls of Fordham, and it's just one of the best people I have ever met in all my time in broadcasting. He's that good. And it's now my pleasure to introduce Mike McLaughlin to present the second annual Johnny Bach Award on behalf of Mr. Bach.
Obviously, that's not the PJ we all know. I want to start by, I know we're all strong basketball fans and stuff like that, but I just want you to know we have a great women's basketball coach, great women's coaching staff. Really exciting team, and I hope that we want to support the men's team, but you got to come out and support this women's team because they're going to do extremely well. They were in postseason last year. Stephanie, we're all behind them. Thanks for everything. I played for Coach Bach, and I've stayed in touch with him and talked to him maybe once or twice a week. And the thing that comes across, he's 89 years old, he's had a couple of health problems. Up until recently, he was a JV basketball coach at my own academy in Chicago. So this man loves basketball. But the thing is, he always talks about his love for Fordham and how much respect he has for student athletes and for Coach Fordham, and how much he wishes he could be here. He's thrilled that PJ is getting this special award because it's a great Fordham family. And as Michael just talked about the last 20 minutes, we all heard about PJ's outstanding career. I want to tell you another side of PJ, the humble PJ. And I have a couple of quick stories here. PJ went to Scranton Prep. And when he was at Scranton Prep, there was a shy, quiet, introverted classmate of his. And PJ saw that this kid had potential. And PJ went out of his way, helped give him confidence. And later that boy from Scranton turned out to be a judge, a church scholar. And today, Monsignor Quinn is the man that he is, thanks to PJ. So, PJ. When Jimmer Phelps was named the head coach, and I was his assistant, we were trying to evaluate the talent, Digger and I, and had a couple of practices and everything. And PJ came in one day and says, "Can I talk to you guys confidentially?" And we were a little taken back. And here's this student trying to talk to us. He says, "I have some ideas about this team." And at that time, PJ was one of the stars. And he said, there's a kid that's on the backup team. This kid named Charlie Youngton. And thanks to PJ sacrificing, Charlie Youngton became the first round pick. A couple of years later, we all knew PJ was going to be a great coach. And he's coaching the JV team at Fordham. And PJ was very commanding and really emphasized defense. And he had this kid on the team trying to play defense. The kid kept faking, taking the charge and everything. And PJ says, I'm not sure your future is in basketball. Here's this young kid from Mount Vernon, didn't know what to do. PJ, he says, everybody from Mount Vernon becomes a basketball player. PJ says, you got to do something else. Thanks to PJ, Denzel Washington, now that's I know PJ, when we were at school together, he was probably the most popular kid at school. When we used to register for classes, people would follow PJ around. Because you knew if you got into his class, you were going to get ahead. But a great Fordham family, a great Fordham man. It's my honor for Johnny Bach to present PJ and his family this award for all that they've done before basketball. Thank you, Frank. Brother Shane, brother clergy, distinguished politicians, not so distinguished politicians, members of the 2013-14 Fordham basketball teams, and families. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I memorized that. I'm going to read the rest of my remarks. I'm sorry I lost my place. It's always good to see Michael K. You notice I said see Michael K., not listen to Michael K. Tribute to Fordham's reputation for developing excellent sportscasters that Michael is the voice, of course, of the Yankees. His classmate Mike Breen, voice of the Knicks, and Bobby Popper, the voice of the Giants. That's really an incredible achievement for our institution. I should correct myself. Michael K. and Mike Breen were classmates. Michael K. actually started a few years before Mike Breen, and finished a few years after. My favorite radio announcer is John Hendricks. Great player. Great broadcaster, better human being. In case you didn't notice, Father McShane left. He thought there were two collections. When Senior Quinn left, he thought there was one collection. Father did steal a remark, but it's the truth. When we were putting the tables together tonight, I finally realized why I was selected for the Johnny Bach Award. Our family's so big, 30-some seats, 3 tables, it was an obvious choice. Had nothing to do with it. Frank mentioned I'm the oldest of 10. Seven of them are here tonight. I'm not going to ask them to stand up because we want this evening to end. Of course, got practice tomorrow morning. It won't be long. I don't know what's more amazing. The 10 of us were admitted to Fordham, but the 10 of us graduated from Fordham. One of the things that I did learn, though, we all learned in Fordham, was the importance of family, and the fact that they're here with me tonight is really meaningful to me because they've been there all the time. Frank talked about the good times. There were a lot of not good times. There were good years before the last, at Seton Hall, the last 6 years. There were terrible years the first 6 years. There were tough times at Wagner, there were good times. There were good NBA teams, and there were bad NBA teams. And believe it or not, there were times I was a genius according to the media. There were a lot of times I was an idiot, according to the media. Probably more of those, and they're probably more right, but they've always been there for me. I really appreciate that. My father used to talk about, you know, how proud he was of the kids, and not the ones that Frank is being kind. I played 3.5 or 4 minutes in 4 years. Digger was trying to get me ready to be a coach. He kept me on the bench the entire time. My career. But I remember my father talking about not just the kids who were lucky enough to play, and a bunch of us played a lot of different sports for Fordham, but and 2 of the proudest nights that he ever had, my sister was literally carried around the campus. She was a member of SDS, the Students for Democratic Society. They occupied Father Walsh's office, the president at that time, and the IBI security carried her out of the president's office. I was so proud of her. Years younger brother Greg and my cousin Pino, his age, were 2 of the 3 tri-captains of the football team. In, I think it was 71, 72, it might be 72, 73. And they didn't like the furniture at F House. I want to make sure the players understand what I think it's called. Not Martyrs, Martyrs Court now? F House. They didn't care for the furniture, so to let people know that they didn't care for the furniture, they threw all the furniture in their suite out the window. We lived on the 4th floor of that house. So when security called my father that night again, he was very, very proud. The athletic director and your son and your nephew were thrown off campus. It's really amazing. I was assistant coach at the time, working for Hal Whistle, and I was really upset because he made them live with me. I lived on 180 Old 3rd Avenue well, and my apartment was small to begin with, and then the 2 of them had to live with me for the last 8 months that they were here. There's many, you know, fantastic memories. My youngest brother, Corey, was a classmate of present assistant coach Tom Parada, and the 2 of them majored in alcohol consumption. Both excellent students. Most of their classes were in the Ramskeller, Clark's, and the Lantern. I'm sure that Joe Moorhead is working tonight and he's not here, but I do want to give a shout out for how proud we are for what football is. Jeff Gray indicated that I should say something nice about Father McShane. I know that I should. And I will. But not tonight. I would like to congratulate Dave Roach. However, there doesn't seem to be anything to congratulate Dave for. Two of my closest friends, and this hurts me to say this, but they're attorneys by trade. Chauncey Durkin, who was one of my golf captains, one of my spectacular coaching career at Fordham when I was assistant basketball coach, head golf coach, head of the chair rental agency, and concessions, and I got $500 a year for that. Chauncey was one of my golf captains. He's a Fordham undergrad. and Joe Quinn, who did not go to Fordham. Both of them wanted to go to Fordham Law. As we all know, Fordham Law has extremely high standards, and when Joe and Chauncey applied to Fordham Law, they didn't quite have the credentials and were rejected. So they applied to Seton Hall Law and were given an academic scholarship. Johnny Bach recruited me. I know he recruited me as a favor to my father, but he recruited me here, and one of the reasons I came was on my visit, they took me to the Ramskeller, and in Pennsylvania, the drinking age was 21. If you wanted to drink, you had to drive to Binghamton and Kirkwood across the line, and the drinking age was 18. So we went the night before my visit, they played St. John's. Frankie and the team, they played St. John's. And the night before the game, I was in the Ramskeller with some of the players, and the captain of the team and the high scorer, I don't want to say their names, but Frank knows who they are. Were both carried out of the Ramskeller that night. Both of them got 20 the next day. We lost. I think Sonny Dove had a shot at the buzzer or something. We lost by like 1 or 2, but I knew this was where I wanted to go to school. So our current guys, so you understand, the Ramskeller was the basement of what used to be called the Student Center. I don't know what they call it now. It was cool. There really were very few colleges in the entire country that had a bar in the basement of the Student Center. It was pretty cool. It was very good. Father Shane wasn't the president. Academics weren't quite the same, with all due respect to my classmates in my year. So they didn't have 36,000 applicants those years for a freshman class, so the Ramskeller was very, very important. Mr. Bach, I never had a chance to play for John Bach. I often think that was one of the reasons he left, but in those days, freshmen weren't eligible. So my freshman year, Dick Tarrant was our freshman coach. He was a great coach. I think you all remember him. He was a high school coach in Clifton, New Jersey, and then went on to great things mostly at the University of Richmond. He was the assistant coach. And then Mr. Bach left to go to Penn State. And Ed Conlon, one of, I guess arguably, one of the top 2 or 3 players in the history of our school, a great pro, a great Fordham man, was the coach sophomore and junior year. And then Frank came back. Frankie, we played with, was our captain. Frankie came back and went to Holy Cross with Jack Penny, I believe, as a coach, and came back with Digger for our senior year, and had arguably, or not arguably, the best year in the school's history. I was very, very fortunate in my 4 years here. In one sense, it's kind of crazy. It was Johnny Bach was the coach 1 year, Mr. Conlon for 2 years, and Digger for the 4th year. But I played for great, great coaches. The 4 years we were here, not because of me, because of Sully and George and some of the guys who were here. We went to 2 NITs, we went to an NCAA in the 4 years, which was a pretty good run. And I say that to you guys because Fordham is capable of that, and you guys are capable of that. I got a chance to play for Jim Lansing 1 year in football. I got a chance to play for a great baseball coach, Gil McDougal. Michael knows very, very well. Real privilege to play for Gil when he was here. I also got a chance to play a year of water polo, which a lot of people were surprised because I wasn't a very good swimmer. But you all know the pool is. Frank, is the pool still there? Well, the pool was a normal pool in the old days, shallow end and deep end. And I was the shallow water goalie. We had a scrimmage, it was the only pool we had. And then the first match we had was at Yale. I wasn't going to get in the match. Joe Bernal was the swim coach and the water polo coach. He was a great coach. But whenever I go out, if you're on TV, you get to go swimming and stuff like that. Except that Yale had a legit pool, like it was 10 foot the whole thing. I was drowned in the water. We talked talk about Fordham, and because of our campus, and now obviously what Father has done, and you're the people here for the most part, Mr. DeLeo and everyone else, your generosity has made possible. We have some fantastic facilities now, but that's not what Fordham is about. And in one sense, we joke about it. In another sense, it's kind of cool. I lived in St. John's Hall. Bob, I was an RN. Bob was there. I think Carlesimo lived in St. John's Hall. Vince Marty lived in St. John's Hall. My father lived in St. John's Hall. I was there. It's kind of cool that it was all there. It was the same. The gym, unfortunately, is the same gym too. Vince Marty played it, but I think that kind of exemplified. Fordham doesn't change. The values, the important things don't change. Yes, we've upgraded the campus. Yes, there's a lot of things that are markedly different than when I was at Fordham, and then a lot of us, the older guys in the room, the ladies in the room, were at Fordham. But the school hasn't changed. The gym is still there. St. John's Hall is still there. A lot of the buildings are still there because that's Fordham. That's what Fordham is. The values that Father McShane talked about tonight, and why he's so proud of the basketball team here and all the people. I'm sure the football team is exactly the same. The people that are playing for us. That's the good thing about Fordham. It doesn't change. Hal Witzel was a great guy. I talked about the people I was lucky to play for. It was great faculty, believe it or not. I knew some of the faculty. Dr. Gronkowski, the philosophy teacher, was as good a teacher as there was. I know a lot of us had him. George Shea was the classics teacher, freshman Latin and Greek, and he went out as the dean downtown at Lincoln Center. Father Fitz, sociology. Frank Ginette was a great theologian. He was one of the two people that translated the Bible when we did the most recent translation of the Bible. And he was important to me because he played cards for us in the dorms a lot. He's a lousy poker player. But I want to acknowledge a teacher, a theology teacher, who's probably the most influential person in my graduating from Fordham, because it was 12 credits at 4 of his courses, and most of my brothers and sisters, Monsignor Tavian. That was serious. That was serious. Hal Witzel gave me my first coaching job. Hal succeeded there. He was here for 5 or 6 years, but he gave me the opportunity to coach. And there's a couple guys, Darryl Brown, who's just come on board, and we're very, very proud of that. Very concerned in the screening process that we have Mr. DeLeo on the board. We're still very proud. But that first team, the first team I ever got to coach was, I said 18-1. Darryl told me we lost twice, which shows you how old I'm getting. But it's the best team I ever coached. I haven't coached the team that well. First year I coached 71-72. I thought it was going to be easy. And I haven't had a team since then. So Darryl and Kevin Moriarty and Jack Walters, my brother Mark and Kevin, later on Denzel. Those guys, I feel badly for them because they were my guinea pigs. I got to be an idiot and yell and do all the stupid stuff, and got the privilege of coaching them, and it got me started on a path that's been very good to me. So I appreciate that, Darryl, very much, and I really am happy that you and Jerry Crowder are on the board. As amazed as I am by that, I'm very proud. Jerry, you're in that amazement also, by the way. Getting an award named after John Bach is really a privilege. I mean, he was one of the reasons I came here. He was a legendary coach. He was a great player. He was a Navy pilot. He was a fantastic college coach. He was the athletic director and the coach here. He was a tremendous representative of Fordham. And because the good Jesuits made him take the vow of poverty when he was here, he went to Penn State. Never got a chance to play for Coach Bach. But in the league, I haven't been in the NBA now for more than 20 years. I can tell you, I think that the people from John's generation know, but for you young guys, this is a guy who was an assistant coach with the Bulls, has a whole bunch of rings that you can, almost as many as Bill Russell. And whether it's Michael or Phil Jackson or anybody that's had the privilege to play for him, they credit so much of their success to Mr. Bach, and he's always been, so much a Fordham guy. And so for me to get an award named after Johnny Bach is really special. Real quick, I want to talk to the team, to the players. I'm looking forward to seeing them practice tomorrow. I want to tell you about the 70-71 team, and believe me, I had nothing to do with it. That's Frank was being kind. I mean, I literally never got they were so good I did get into some games. I even got to games in the NCAA because we would win by a lot. But the team was 70-71 Fordham team, which is a few years ago. It was 26-3. I think we ended up ranked 6th or whatever it was. Frankie was one of the coaches. Our players, really, Tom Sullivan, George Zampetti, and these other guys, Charlie Elverton, who Frankie talked about. But the team was such a special team. It was a good group of people. We had a great recruiting class. Jackie Burek was our point guard from Pittsburgh, Charlie Elverton from Rice High School, Billy Maynard from Weequahic High School in Newark, and Bobby Lars and myself. Bobby was from Cincinnati, and sent me a beautiful letter. He's a teacher now. Has been a teacher for 40 years in Cincinnati. Bobby Lars and I sat down at the end of the bench with the managers. We helped with the towels in the water. That group, I still believe that Digger and Frank that year, I don't know that coaches have ever done as good a job with the team as those guys did with that team. And I'm totally convinced that no single player, Charlie Elverton being the guy, ever did more for his team than Charlie did that year. And we played when we were freshmen. Your sophomore year, Frank, I think February of my freshman year, we were freshmen, but we played in the new garden. That's how old Madison Square Garden is. It was January or February of '68. The garden now that we played. I think we actually had a game in the old garden in November, December. But we played Notre Dame and Marquette consecutive Thursdays. It was the first 2 times the garden had ever sold out for a college game. We played Notre Dame and we played Marquette, 19,588 people. Every team we played that year, Charlie played the best player. Whatever, it didn't matter what position he was. If it was Marquette, it was Dean Meminger. If it was UMass, we played at UMass, it was Dr. J. It was Notre Dame, it was Austin Carr. It was Villanova, it was Howard Porter. He literally played the best player on the other team. Charlie at best was 6'2", and he played the center, the forward, the guard, wherever it was on the other team, and he was spectacular. We lost 3 games. We lost to Temple on a Saturday afternoon in Rose Hill Gym, in the old ECAC Saturday afternoon game of the week. We lost to Marquette by a point in the garden, I think in overtime, but it was a 1-point game. And we lost to Villanova in the East Regional in Raleigh, North Carolina, to go to Houston to the Astrodome to play. Villanova ended up losing to UCLA in the championship game of the Astrodome. And that team, the schedule was like the schedule you play now. I mean, we played Syracuse, Georgetown, BC, Notre Dame, Marquette, Villanova, Temple, Penn, everybody, St. John's. We played them all, and we beat them all. And it was for the most part, with guys from here, and it was a fantastic time to be a Fordham Ram. So it is attainable. It's not something you talk about, dream about, anything like that. It's there. And to me, there's a little bit of a connection, if you don't mind me talking about the connection. Another one of your assistants tonight, along with Coach Barad, is John Morton. Johnny played for me, actually he played for us, for Tom Sullivan and I. He came to Seton Hall. And what I think is really important for all of us to understand where Fordham is in terms of building back to where they were and where Coach McCord is going to get them. It took us 6 years. I was at Seton Hall for 12 years. First 6, we were nowhere. When John came to us, he came as part of a 3 or 4, where's Johnny? I can't see you, Jim. 3. Minnie, where are you? Westinghouse and Darryl Walker from All Hallows, and we We had all-state people from Jersey also, but John's freshman year, correct me if I'm wrong, we were under 500, we didn't win games. We got our butts kicked in the Big East on a regular basis. Sophomore year, we finally got above 500, we got an NIT bid. His junior year, we got the first NCAA bid in the school's history. Was 70-71 our first NCAA bid, Frankie? No, it was not, okay. We got the first NCAA bid when John was a junior, and when John was a senior, he took us to the championship game in Seattle. John got traded. Believe me when I tell you, Fordham has more going for it, and I love Seton Hall, don't get me wrong, but Fordham has a lot more going for it than Seton Hall did and Seton Hall does. Father McShane's not here, but I'm sure someone's taking notes, and I'm sure I'll hear from him. But Father Jenkins, the Notre Dame president, called, what he really said was, Father, you're not a Catholic school. You're a Jesuit school, which is really a compliment from me. Lastly, I can't tell you how important it is. Nick Baldino's here, what Jerry has done since he's been on the board. Mike Pugliese, Darryl now being on the board. So many of you, Jimmy O'Neill, what he's done for baseball. I mean, the field that he's playing. When it was done, they put the snow fence in front of the bleachers, and left field was there. And it was a little bit different. It was great. It was great playing for Darren Alba and playing for Bill McDougal. But people like you enable these young men and these coaches like Coach McCord to do the things you want them to do. It's not enough to go to the games and clap and say we want to be good. You have to, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, because a lot of you have already done that. And I'm more guilty than anybody. I should be here more. I should be doing more than I've done at Fordham. But they need you. These players need you. These coaches need you. The more that you can contribute, the more that you can do to support them, you're going to get them there quicker. And a lot of people, when we had the great success at Seton Hall, a lot of people didn't understand why I didn't leave Seton Hall. Because I had some nice offers, and like, why would you stay at Seton Hall? The reason I stayed at Seton Hall were people like you, people that when we were losing, kept contributing and believed in us. And they said, I know you're going to turn the corner, I know you're going to do it. And that school stood by us when we were terrible. When we won 2 games and 4 games and 6 games, and last year's Johnny Bach winner was playing at Georgetown. It was a bad time to be in the Big East, to be at the bottom of the Big East when we got there. We got our heads kicked for about 6 years, and eventually we got a turn. And we got a turn for 2 reasons. We got a turn because of John Morton and players like that. But the reason we were able to get John Morton and players like that was generosity from people like you, because we were able to hire a great staff and enable them to go out and do things, and we were on a level playing field. We had practice facilities, we traveled the right way, we scouted the right way. We did the things that the other teams that we were trying to compete with were doing. That's why we didn't get there because I could coach or anything. We got there because people enabled us and put us in position to be successful. And you people are the people that are going to put Coach McCord in position to be successful. And I love so much the decision that I think Frank more than anybody made. I love this guy that's our coach. I couldn't be happier that he's coaching this team. And I hope you will all join me in supporting him.